Is this something that an average person can actually do every single day to improve their lives?
It's 5:50 in the morning. Well, 5:55. Yeah, that's my life now.
I picked some popular ones, but I also picked more of the easier ones that are achievable without a heavy investment. I'm not going to go and do something super drastic, like only do a juice fast for a month and drink apple juice every single day. I think these are just outlandish claims and things that are super unrealistic and won't work for 99.99999999999999999% of the people. It just doesn't make sense. The challenge went for roughly around about 30 days. And at the beginning, I would always flip over one card per day and add that to my routine. So let's check it out. Let's flip over the first card. So going for a walk, my thoughts on that. I think that was probably one of the hardest ones to do and to keep up every day, but also one of the most beneficial ones by far.
It's not that early. It's like 7:15 or something in the morning, obviously. And yeah, instantly woke up, went outside. It's raining a little bit. Well, it was raining when I started to walk, but now it's a little bit better. It's not that bad. I don't know. Like obviously you can see it in my eyes. Still not fully awake yet, and not used to this, but it's fresh and clean air, and I'm pretty lucky because last week's it was snowing and really, really cold. -8, something like that, -5. It's not too bad right now. It's like 5, 6, 7 degrees and no snow.
I think walking outside, the fresh air early, the movement, the blood flow, the loosening up your body, being outside, hearing nature, it just really primes you for the day. And I always felt better. Like literally every single time, without a fail, I felt better when I came home and started the day with already something done and with some movement and being outside. Now, the sunlight wasn't really there because I went outside so early in the morning that it was still dark usually, most of the time. But I would argue that in summer, or if you wake up a little bit later than what I tried, also the sunlight really helps you get into a rhythm for the day. And I think there's so many health benefits of getting sunlight early in the day that I think it's just very, very valuable. It was difficult, and I really had to force myself outside sometimes, especially when it was raining or really cold. It's just the bed suddenly has tentacles trying to grab you and not let you go. It's really hard to get out of bed and go from being super comfortable and cozy and warm to yuck outside, cold, disgusting weather, and going for a walk. This is something that really took some time to get used to. The first days were fun and exciting and new. That was easy. The middle part was horrible because that's when the excitement wore off a little bit. And then once you get past that, a couple more days, you kind of crave it. You kind of crave this like feeling of fresh air in your nose. I don't know how else to explain it. It feels like a drug almost. Not that I would know what a drug feels like. It actually starts becoming like a addiction. You want to go outside. You want to feel that certain way. So yeah, this is for me not a 10 out of 10 because usefulness, yeah, 10 out of 10 by far. The best thing in this entire habits journey. But it's really not that easy to get used to it and to especially stick with it. So I would say this is like a 7.5 or 8 out of 10. Drinking water, guys, like, I never understood how people cannot drink water or how it's difficult. Just have a bottle of water right next to your bed. Force yourself, like, you don't even have to move that much from your bed to grabbing your bottle and then drinking a little bit of water. Start off small if you really don't enjoy it. Start off with 2 or 3 sips. That's better than nothing. But I think this is something you shouldn't skip. There's no excuses not to do it. Have a glass of water, a bottle, a soda stream, whatever you want to take, but just drink water in the morning. And yes, it did help a lot. Usually when I wake up with a hunger feeling or something, it goes away after a while, after just drinking and then going for a walk. You feel revitalized, you feel fresher, you have more energy, you have clearer focus. There's no excuse not to do it. This is a 10 out of 10. It's easy to do. Anyone can do it. It's cheap. It's not expensive or anything, and it's really useful. I really felt the difference after waking up and drinking water every single morning. The journaling was, it's definitely not a 10 out of 10. I do enjoy it. It really felt fantastic trying to get some thoughts out of my head and, starting the day with a little bit more structure because I had an idea of what I wanted to put on paper or like laptop in this case. And I I oftentimes when I didn't know what to write, I just wrote what I wanted to do during the day. And that already helped me greatly actually sticking to it because I had a plan. I thought through the plan and it helped me make more sense of all that mess and clutter in my head. It was really a really, really good outlet. That being said, I do think it's very useful, yes. So like a 9 out of 10, maybe even 10 out of 10, but sticking with it, not so easy. I would say don't have a fixed schedule. Well, it depends on what kind of type of person you are, I guess. If you have ADHD, sticking to one schedule is probably going to be difficult. But if you're someone that works really well through structure, then maybe it's okay. But for me personally, I didn't like if I told myself to always do it at 10 o'clock, I would feel really stressed and bad if I didn't make it at 10 o'clock. And then I would feel bad about it. It would demotivate me, kill my energy again. That was just not good. So I just tried to do it whenever it worked. So it wasn't necessarily a morning habit. That's what I'm trying to say. Forcing myself to do it in the morning was okay for the time. But now, a couple of weeks after that challenge, I don't really do that anymore. I no longer immediately write down my thoughts in the morning, which I probably should, and it was helpful, but that's just not how I work. I would have to seriously force myself, and it would be a lot of stress to always do it right after waking up, right after going for a walk, and stuff like that. Nowadays, I just really try to write every once in a while, whenever something comes to mind, or yeah, I try to have 3, 4 times a week where I sit down and actively write down my thoughts. And I try to do it more often than not, but I won't force myself or I won't get mad if I miss a day. And that just is how it works best for me. So overall, journaling, I would say, is like a 7 out of 10, maybe 7.5. It is useful. I think it's a really useful thing. It just depends on how you structure it and how much you write down and how much you're willing to spend time on going through your own thoughts. But I think it can be very, very valuable. Actually, let's put that on an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Getting up early. I made a big mistake here. I tried to push myself too fast.
All right. It's 5:50 in the morning. Well, 5:55.
And I'm a firm believer that you should like ease into things and that consistency is better than like a really drastic change and drastic sprint. And I went from, streaming and being up late, super late, like ultra late to like 3, 4 a.m. and then sleeping really long into the day and having a really messed up schedule throughout the last 2 years to then trying to force myself getting up at 5:30 in the morning and going for a walk and like it was a super drastic change. And then I tried to push myself too fast, too much. And I think that's just a surefire way to mess something up, mess up a good habit.
Yeah, that's my life now.
And it was hard for me to keep it up. I really felt the exhaustion. In the evening I was super tired, and in the mornings I was sluggish. Sure, at the beginning, as with everything new, with my brain, it thinks it's exciting and cool and fun. So the first couple of days were fine, but I can tell you, I did not uphold that throughout the last weeks after the challenge. I was not able to get up that early every single day. Right now I'm regularly waking up anything between 6 and 8. I usually don't use my alarm clock anymore. And I just wake up whenever my body tells me to wake up. I go to bed early, so like around 10. Read a book before bed, and then just let my body tell me when to wake up. And that feels a lot more natural. And I still try to do some of the morning routines. It's just not this forcing myself to get up at 4:30 or 5:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning. That's just not for me. It's not going to work. Maybe if I do it for a year or something, my body could get used to it. But I think even then, it's just not entirely me. I would rate this as a 7.5 out of 10, maybe a 7, because I think it really depends on what kind of person you are. I do enjoy, I would say I enjoy getting up early in the morning more than I do getting up late. It just feels like you have more of the day, and I feel like you have more, like a different kind of energy if you get up really early. But I don't want to force myself as a habit or routine to do it every single day, if that makes sense. Making the bed is this is like the drinking the water thing, guys. No one has excuses to not do this. There's literally, even if you're late, even if you miss your alarm clock, like those 10 seconds will not change you being on time or not at work or in a meeting. There's zero excuse of not making your bed in the morning, like literally. And it's such a minor thing. Like this is a 10 out of 10 for me, again, because it's super easy to do, super cheap, like zero investment, neither time, money, energy, resource, nothing. You take your sheets, you fold them, and you lay them down. That's it. Maybe, a couple of pillows or something, arrange them in a nice way. But then that gives you a clear, nice mental picture of your room that looks more coordinated, more tidy, more clean. And that, I think, helps your brain also be less cluttered. I'm not fully sure of the science behind this, but I swear I felt a difference. Also coming back home from the walk and then going into my room and seeing everything neat and tidy and clean and it felt good. It felt like I was ready to tackle the challenges of the day. Do it. Just don't argue, do it. Yeah, I'm not doing that one for sure. No way. This was probably one of the easiest ones to do because at the moment I am in my reading phase again. I really enjoy it. I have multiple different books that I'm reading. I have a full, I don't know if you can see, let me see if I can. Like I have like a full list of books there, and then I have in the other room also multiple books that I've stacked and ready to go. This was easy. I think this is highly recommendable as well for everyone. I have one YouTube video that I uploaded a couple days or weeks ago about reading and the benefits, and I think that's just one of the things that a lot of people are sleeping on. Reading a physical book has so many health benefits, and focus and attention span gets better, concentration, you fine tune your empathy skills, and just so many benefits. Just, take your time to read, force yourself to do 10 minutes, 20 minutes, chapter, one chapter a day. Do that in the morning because it calms you down. You get distracted from your worries a little bit in the morning, especially if you read nonfiction and fantasy stuff or whatever excites you, whatever you think you're passionate about. You get lost in it a little bit, and that helps you calm down a little bit and get ready for the day. Absolutely love this one. This was one of the easiest habits for me. 10 out of 10. Like, you can't go wrong with this, in my opinion. And even if you don't like reading books per se, get a comic book or a magazine about cars or about furniture, whatever you're excited about it, just sit down, have a book or a magazine, something you can browse through physically, and then read that and go through it. The no screen time for 1 hour, I said that earlier already. I'm gonna skip this one. I think this is it's not a 10 out of 10 because it's kind of hard to do. Hear me out. Not really hard per se, but it's very easy to slack. Like you can do this 10 days in a row and be super disciplined and happy about it. And then one day you just, you take your phone, there's like a pop-up message, or you wanted to check something on Instagram, like a post you posted a couple days ago or whatever, and you just want to see the updates. And then you check that real quick. And instead of putting the phone down immediately again, a new video pops up or someone wrote something, and then suddenly you're doom scrolling, suddenly you're stuck for an hour on the phone, your dopamine levels get shot again, and it's just a mess. So I think this is really hard to, it's so sad, but it's actually kind of hard to do, to go 1 hour without screen in the morning, literally without screen. Maybe like the alarm clock, or if you have a app tracking your walking, something like that, or you might have to use it a little bit, but in theory it's about not using the phone for work or even leisure time for 1 hour. And it's really not that easy. Usefulness, I would say this is a 10 out of 10. Difficulty, I would say this is like a 6.5 or something. And the lower, the better, if that makes sense. Actually, now that I think about it, that's a little bit of confusing metric. But you know what I mean. Like it's really useful, but harder to do. I would say like a 6 or 6.5 out of 10. The stretching and mobility, yeah, I said this before. I think this could be really useful, really good for your body, getting your muscles and your tendons loosened up and ready for the day. And just overall I think it's also good for longevity to use that connection between your muscles and your brain. and early in the day, slowly get ready to move and be less rusty. I think this is really good. I think this, in combination with going for a walk, can be very useful. I skipped it for now. I might actually do a full-on video about this at some point because I think it has a lot of benefits. It's just you need a good routine and you need to know what you're doing. I might actually try to test some popular or viral routines and see if they work for me. But we're going to skip it for now, and I have been doing a little bit of it anyways during my gym sessions. Brushing teeth first in the morning, it's really not that hard to get used to, and just, do it as third or fourth thing in the morning and then go for a walk. I do think that it feels a lot better if you do it. Overall, I would say this is like an 8.5 or even 9 out of 10. This is useful and it's easy to do. So you should probably do it. All right, guys, what do you think? Which of these habits do you think you can incorporate into your own life? I definitely enjoyed this experiment. Out of all of these habits, I still maintain, I think, 4 or 5 out of them. The drinking in the morning, I still do. Making the bed, I still do. I go outside not every day, but I try to do it 2 to 3 times a week, maybe a little bit more. It depends on really how I feel. I still read in the morning. I still really enjoy that. I think that's one of the biggest things for me personally because it calms me down. I really don't overthink the day already. The journaling, it's very sporadic. I try to incorporate it more again. The last 2 or 3 weeks was almost non-existent. I just always forgot it throughout the day. So maybe I do need a schedule in the morning. I don't know. We'll see. But I really enjoyed it. Every time I did do it, I think it was beneficial and pretty cool. What I failed miserably at, or not miserably, but what I really didn't do too well was the getting up early, like the super early, like 5 o'clock, 5:30. That kind of messed up, and now it's around like 7-ish, 7:30 usually. Let me know what kind of habits you guys swear by, what you have tried yourself, what works for you, what doesn't work for you. And eventually, I hope I can also test some other routines and habits from famous people or even some commenters. Who knows? We'll see how it goes.